All right, so today we're going to identify the vertex and the axis of symmetry for this given quadratic equation, y equals 4x squared plus 4x minus 1. Whenever you have a quadratic equation, it's important to identify the coefficients a, b, and c. But to do that, remember that standard form is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So therefore, our value of a in our equation would be 4. The value of b is also 4. And the value of c is negative 1. So it's also important to remember that the vertex can be found very easily by knowing that the x-coordinate of the vertex is negative b over 2a. And to find the y-coordinate, you just plug in the x-coordinate that you find back into your equation. The axis of symmetry is a vertical line that goes through the graph and cuts it in half, and that has to go through the vertex. So the equation of the axis of symmetry is always x equals whatever the x-coordinate is in our vertex. So x equals negative b over 2a. So now let's find this information. So we'll start with negative b over 2a to find this first. So we know b is 4, so we have negative 4 all over 2 times a is also 4. And we can simplify this fraction and get negative 4 over 8. And then negative 4 over 8 reduces to negative 1 over 2. So we'll put our vertex down here. Our vertex is going to be, well, at least going to have an x-coordinate of negative 1/2. Awesome. Now, again, to find the y-coordinate, this coordinate right here, we need to plug in our x value, that of negative 1/2, back into our equation. So let's do that. So we have y equals 4, but again, instead of x, I'm putting in negative 1/2. So negative 1/2 squared plus 4 times negative 1/2 minus 1. And then we follow orders of operations to solve for y. So we know that negative 1/2 times negative 1/2 is a positive 1/4. We know that 4 times negative 1/2 is just minus 2. And then minus 1. A fourth of 4, or 4 times 1/4, is just 1. So we're left with 1 minus 2 minus 1. And so y is going to equal 1 minus 2 is negative 1, and negative 1 minus 1 more is negative 2. So that means that when x is negative 1/2, we got a y-coordinate of negative 2. So our vertex of this equation is found at negative 1/2, negative 2. Now, the axis of symmetry, again, is pretty easy to find once you find the vertex. The axis of symmetry is a vertical line, so it has the equation x equals, and it's always going to equal whatever the x-coordinate of the vertex is. So x equals negative 1/2. And we are done.